I'll identify once he calls a meeting. I think we got all three of them there.
This call is being recorded. This call is being recorded.
We're good. Yeah.
Okay, it's a little after 10:30, so I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. First thing we need to do is go over the protocol for the meeting, given the governor's orders. Jody, can you?
I will. This, obviously, we're open to the public this time, and, per the governor's orders, we can still do electronic participation by the board members, and we have 3 commissioners that are on the line, to participate that way. Chairman McGuffin is on the line, Commissioner Elkins is on the line, and Commissioner Wild. Here in person, we have Secretary Isaacs, and we have Commissioner Dickerson, myself, Jody Wigington, Chief Park Broker, General Manager, Mike Howard, Water Wastewater Manager, George Benjamin, Telecom Manager, Brian Delozier, Electric Manager, and Attorney Lauren Carroll. So I think, according to this order, we need to identify yourself. I think everybody knows who you are, so, and we know your voices, but we'll do voting by roll call, and Secretary Isaacs will conduct the meeting from here. Any questions from commissioners online?
None for me, no.
Okay, we will be recording this as required under this executive order. So, yeah, we check. We don't have to, let's go ahead and check if there's any. There's nobody. Okay. Okay. There's nobody
All
online.
lines have been muted.
Nobody online from the public. We have a couple of visitors here today. Mr. Strazillo and the press is here. And some other visitors will identify themselves in a minute. I'll turn it back over to Secretary Isaac.
Okay, first thing we'd like to do is give Chris Quillen with TVA an opportunity to explain the STEM grant program. Made some presentations earlier to some local schools. If you would like to take a few minutes to explain that, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing. So, fun day today to get to come here to Morristown. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you all. You all have 3 schools in your territory that won some of our STEM grants. So TVA's been doing this for about 3 years now, where in the fall we open it up to any school within the valley that's served by a TVA local power company can put in an application for some money to do some STEM program funding at their school. And so we keep it pretty wide open. Say, tell us what your needs are, write us a proposal. So this year TVA partnered with our retirees organization, BBI, and we got about we had $800,000 to give out, and we had 600 or so applications, and we approved about 200 of those applications to give out that $800,000. So you had Morristown West, Morristown East, and John Hay Elementary won some grants. We took some photos of that stuff earlier today. So we're proud to be able to partner with BBI and our retirees organization there to hand these out. It goes towards furthering our mission of improving the lives of the folks in the Tennessee Valley by offering these students some neat and unique STEM opportunities. So thank you for your partnership and helping us get those done. So, and then Jody, I think you had one other thing we were going to mention. So we have the STEM grants that the schools can apply for. We also do the local power companies come together once a year and do a charity golf tournament, and that golf tournament is to raise funds to provide scholarships for children of employees who work at local power companies. And this year, Jim Belcher's son, Andy, won one of those scholarships. So this is also a very competitive process. I think we do 20 or 21 scholarships per year through this. It's called the Power Play Tournament, and we'll be doing hopefully an in-person award ceremony later in May in Murfreesboro, where Jim and Andy and you folks will be invited to come to Murfreesboro, and we'll present that scholarship award to him. So
We used to have a number of people each year that applied, just like he says, pretty.
yeah, So they have to write, to win the award, they have to write an essay, talk a little bit about leadership and what they want to do and what public power is next to them. So congratulations,
Do
Andy.
you know what he's majoring in? Have you wanna?
He's going to Middle Tennessee State University, their media arts program to major in animation.
And he wrote, just the one that's so good on websites.
He is. Jerry is.
Jared, he's up.
Jerry is oldest, yeah. But Andrew is too.
Okay, well, good deal. So congratulations, Jim, and Andrew for winning that scholarship. Thank you. I know you all have a full agenda today, so appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Thanks for coming down early, and thanks for the school system award.
Yeah.
We appreciate your support of the community. We heard a lot of really good uses of the funds today, and it's to make that possible.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to see the different creative ideas people have out there for their needs. So thanks again. And
You're welcome to stay as long as we can hold your interest.
I'll get on to the next one.
Got other things.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Chris.
All right, we're gonna deviate from the agenda a little bit, and we're going to bring Cheryl up. I'm gonna read a resolution. Come on up here.
Okay, yeah, buddy.
Resolution 2021-03-01. Cheryl Seals retirement. Whereas Cheryl Seals has been the president of the Morristown Utilities Commission of the city of Morristown, Tennessee since February 14, 2005. And whereas Cheryl has announced her retirement from the commission effective October 2, 2020. And whereas Cheryl has served the commission with honor, dignity, dedication, and loyalty, making a valuable contribution to the commission and through it to her community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Morristown Utility Commission in appreciation of her service, this resolution being formally set forth in recognition of Cheryl Seal for her contribution to the Morristown Utility Commission, passed this 25th day of March, 2021. Okay. Here's your plaque. And here's your plaque. And I have something else we want to present you with. This is the Chairman's Appreciation. Cheryl A. Seals. Cheryl came to us from Charter in 2005. Before our first FiberNet customer, her experience was invaluable in establishing the core of our back office operations, including rates, billing, and customer service. Cheryl's work ethic, character, and attitude were instrumental in mentoring and training employees. We are indebted to Cheryl, a founding member of the FiberNet team. She was integral in making our telecom business successful. So, I present you with that and wish you the best in retirement and thank you for helping build FiberNet.
Nothing I want to say is thank you guys. I came here as a middle-aged woman, no degree, just school of hard knocks, and I was allowed to continue and finish my working career here. Allowed to stay home twice while my husband was ill and had to be passed.
Well, we appreciate your service.
Can I get a picture in front of the, or logo, please?
You wanna retire now?
Are you sure?
You really sure you wanna take that plaque?
I'm positive. You want this? How do you want this?
Hey, we're gonna fix one.
Okay, I'm,
Yeah, we'll do one down there, yeah.
Should put mine on.
Longer shot.
Next week I'll be.
Next week, I got my second, yes.
Well, I got my first one, I have my second one next week. So.
Thank you so much for what
Thank
you
you.
do. Just being a friend. We got,
Secretary.
they're up.
Hang on one second.
Oh, yeah, my husband grew up, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to go back.
Carol.
George,
like to speak to you.
Oh, okay. Hello, George. Yes.
I just want to say thank you for all you did and continue to do. Congratulations and happy trails.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Sheriff.
See you guys.
Thank you, sweetheart. Okay. We're back to the agenda. If you'll, first item on the agenda is the approval of the last board meeting minutes. If you can take those, look at those. And if we have any questions about those.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Catherine first, Lynn second. Okay, calling the roll, Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson.
Aye.
Commissioner Elkins,
Aye.
Secretary Isaac. Aye. Chairman McGuffey.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved.
Okay, the second item is the financials. Clark, you can lead us through the financials.
For the power system this month, revenue is $6.8 million, we budgeted 6.6. Power cost is 4.5, we budgeted 4.6, that's after about $200,000 or so of credits, obviously. But margin in for the month is about 30%, $2.2 million. So up about $250,000 or so from what we actually budgeted for the year. Year to date, that number is $14.8 million, we budgeted 13.7. So the bulk of that increase in margins really due to the credits, obviously, TDA credits. O&M for the month is $785, essentially we budgeted $837, year to date that's $6.5 million, we budgeted $6.8. So net income for the month is $632,000, we budgeted $388. And year to date that's right at $1.8 million, we budgeted $612,000. So really strong numbers on the power side. If you look at the stats page, the next page, kilowatt hours is right at 77 million. It's down about 0.5% compared to last year in the budget. And year to date, it's about right at 600 million. It's down about 3% compared to what we budgeted and the number last year.
I think that residential number is more that amount of days in the billing cycle, or is it up?
That's a piece of it, and then it was just cold. Okay, about second or third week, something like that.
A lot of interest.
That's what I was wondering, it's more than residential side.
Yeah, but I mean, it's across the board, though. You got even people above 1,000, 9% there, 9%. And then 11% big boys.
Into plat has been down for the last 2 or 3 weeks, doing a lot of upgrades.
That'd be.
That would just be one category.
That'd be March usually. Yeah.
Which category would they be in?
They're in the negative 10.96%, they're in the big boy category there.
The 3 months are in
Is that
March.
February?
It's February's numbers.
No, they've been down for 3 weeks, starting at the end of that.
Those 3 weeks are in March.
Yes.
And these are February sales.
So I'm saying they're down in February into March. I think they're coming back up now. They've been down almost.
They took the whole thing.
They've been down. They went from 10 or 11 megawatts down to about 2 or 3 megawatts.
Wow, that do it, yeah, that would do it.
Yeah. So, kind of to your point on the residential side, the green days is, about 6.5% or so. That would drive the residential piece a little bit. The 3-day listings, so Julie's got, where we are month to date from a March standpoint is the 281. February numbers were 666 degree days. You kind of see how that compares to the past, 6 or 7 years or so there.
3 miles.
Yeah, March is so far, yeah, it doesn't look like that's gonna change for sure. On the balance sheet, no major changes there. a little over $20 million, almost $21 million of debt still. And then on the cash page, total cash for $17 million. Spendable is right at 12. And, that puts us right around 75 days of operating cash, still at the very bottom of the page there. This time last year, we were right at 50 days, so good improvement. Again, predominance of that's due to credits from TDA. Prove them all this time.
You go through all of them.
Okay. So next page should be the water system. Total revenue 645, we budgeted 630, and year-to-date 5.4, budgeted 5.3. Total O&M 453, we budgeted 470, and year-to-date it's 3.7, we budgeted right at 3.8. So really good numbers from that standpoint. Net income this for the month is about $35,000. We actually budgeted -8 for this particular month. Year-to-date, right at 400,000, and again, we budgeted 258,000 year-to-date. So, good healthy numbers on the water side. You look at sales, total sales, we're up about 3% compared to last year, 231 million compared to 224. And year-to-date, we're about 1,950,000,000 or so, budget about 1,940,000,000-ish. So, year-to-date, we're up about 0.5%.
And if you do the math on there, like I did, that -12 and the +9 for commercial industrial, as we move, we're correcting, got Colgate into the right.
Yes.
If you added both of the totals, they'd be down something, right?
And I think that Colgate number washes out in like October, November, or something like that next year. So you can see the precipitation numbers down there, we're really close to normal, back to normal, I guess, for the month of February this year compared to last year, for sure. And the next page should be the, degree of rainfall, for the past 6 or 7 years or so.
You're getting ready to catch up.
Yeah, I hope it's not 4 or 5 inches in the next 3 days. Next page should be the balance sheet, the water system. Again, no major changes there. Debt's still about $8 million last year. Next page should be total cash. Cash page, $2.8 million total cash. Spendable, we're about 1.9. And that's right at where it was last month and basically where we were this time last year. Next page should be the income statement of the sewer system. Total revenue 1.4, we budgeted essentially 1.3. Year-to-date, that's $11 million against the budget for about 10.5 or so. Total O&M expense for the month is 596, we budgeted 634. And year-to-date, that's right at $5 million, really close to our budget, right at the budget number. So net income for the month is 121,000, budgeted 110. Year-to-date, 600,000, we budgeted 718. And if you look at the next page, should be the stats for the month. Total sales, 99 million, we're up close to 4%. And year-to-date, 822 million, we're up about 2.5% year-to-date. Balance sheet, no major highlights on there. Again, debt about $75 million or so. No real changes otherwise. Next page should be the cash page in the sewer system. Total cash 6.6 million, and that's all rate dollars essentially. There are essentially no bond proceeds left. This time last year we were 7.8 and had a little bit of bond money left in there. Total spendable cash is about $6.5 million. That's up about $500,000 from where we were this time last year, and essentially flat compared to last month. And last section then will be income statement in the telecom system. Net income for the month's 977. We budgeted 976. Year-to-date 7.7 million. We budgeted 7.8. Cost of goods for the month's 295. We budgeted 288. And year-to-date that's $2.3 million. Excuse me. That's down about $50,000 or so compared to what we budgeted. I guess a better message is the O&M expense for the month is $446. We budgeted $472, and And year-to-date, those same numbers are 3.7 compared to 3.8, so. O&M's down $500,000 year-to-date compared to what we budgeted. And income for the month is $137,000, we budgeted $119, and year-to-date, we're $884, compared to a budget of $782. And if you look at the next page, the stats, total customers were about 2,400 for the month. We're up about 5 compared to last month, not a big change, obviously, but compared to this time last year, we're up about 300 customers compared to where we were last year. And you can see from the commercial installs and disconnects, the disconnect side is really low this month. The biggest dollars there are at the bottom of that column is a company called MPLN. They're actually using our data storage. And their contract ran out, and they basically quit using the product that they were storing. Did I say that right, George?
Yeah, plus then upgrade their software, provided for some different solutions.
Yeah.
So offsite storage.
So it wasn't like they didn't like our product, whatever, they simply just didn't need it anymore.
I think we had them from 7 years.
Yes. To the tune of about $1,500 a month, I think. So, stats. Next page should be a graph kind of continue showing the customer trends, and it's a pretty common conversation now, but video and internet continue to drift downward, the bottom two lines. Top line, internet, I said video, I'm sorry, video and phone continue to drift downward, and top line, internet continues to climb pretty substantially. Like we say, from a revenue and a margin standpoint, internet is better, obviously. Balance sheet telecom, we're about $6.2 million of debt, down substantially from last year. And then last page on telecom should be total cash, $1 million, and spendable cash for about $758. Pretty good from last month. We're going to continue to see that number climb until probably June. That's our next pretty large debt payment. So still pretty strong cash for this telecom standpoint. That's all I've got as far as financials.
Okay, do we have any questions for Clark on the financials? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Elkins, Secretary Isaacs,
Aye.
Chairman McGaffey.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Okay, the next resolution would be Dale Cobble retirement. He is not here, but I'm going to read it. Resolution 2021-03-02. Dale Cobble's retirement, whereas Dale Cobble has been an employee of Morristown Utility Commissions of the city of Morristown, Tennessee since October 9, 2000. And whereas Dale has announced his retirement from the commission effective February 5th, 2021. And whereas Dale has served the commission with honor, dignity, dedication, and loyalty, making a valuable contribution to the commission and through it, his community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Morristown Utility Commission, in appreciation of his service, this resolution being formally set forth in recognition of Dale Cobble for his contributions to the Utility Commission, passed this 25th day of March, 2021. Dale came over from the wastewater from the city, I believe. Is that correct, Mike? And he has a brother that works here too, Charlie. So
We don't normally do that.
Honestly, that was part of the city that we could call it.
They're very different.
they both work for the city. All right.
No, we had Charlie, his brother did. So
Oh, I got
Dale
you.
just came over from the city.
I see. Okay. We have a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion.
Motion is second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild. Commissioner Dickerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Elkins,
Aye.
Secretary Isaacs,
Aye.
Chairman McGaffey.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Okay, the next resolution is resolution 2021-03-03. This is a pretty lengthy resolution. It is a request to the city of Morristown, to the city council, to adopt a resolution authorizing issuance and sale of the general obligation bond. And the purpose of this bond would be to pay off bonds with a higher interest rate. So this is just a way to refinance and take advantage of the lower interest rates and save the wastewater division interest expense. And it's a pretty substantial savings over the remaining term. It will save wastewater over $2.2 million. Is there anything else we need to add to this, Clark, or explain?
That's the bulk of it. The current rate on those funds is about 3%. At this moment, we anticipate that rate to be about 1.4%. The bulk of that savings would be recognized in the first 3 years at about $700,000 a year or so. And after that, the savings taper off to, $20,000, $10,000, that area. So from a sewer standpoint, that would be substantial savings and a good boost to the cash flow. And again, just a requesting resolution from the city, first step in the process. We've been working with Raymond James, thank you, for several months, and they're the ones we worked with on the last refinance.
Am I correct, the last time, a couple of years ago, we did not have the ability to refinance these because they had a call provision.
That's correct.
TML wouldn't let us out of, right?
Yeah, and technically, this is an advanced refunding. That call comes up the very 1st of July, so we're trying to get the money together and be ready to go as soon as we can.
So the first of July is when we can do it, but all this preparation is so that we can do it before the rates go back up.
Yeah. And obviously, we're gonna monitor that in the interim if rates become unfavorable.
What does it look like right now, or as far as the rates, the difference?
The existing rate is 3%. Right now, what we're anticipating is 1.4, so about 1.5% savings, roughly.
But 1.4 is where it is now, if it doesn't change from where it is now.
Yeah.
This is big stuff.
That
Is
makes
that
sense.
on all the, 21 and 22 fiscal years, what it would apply to, basically the savings?
Yeah, 22 and 23, really. 21, 22, and 23. It's probably not gonna be 21, to be honest with you. The actual, where we will actually see the savings would be fiscal year 22, 23, and 24. Was that your question?
22 is what fiscal year ends June 30th?
Yes.
Okay, 22 is what I meant.
Okay.
And how much is that, do you calculate if it stayed at the 1.4, is that for savings per year?
Yes. Yeah,
How much?
about 700,000 per year the first 3 years. And then after that, that savings tapers off to around 20,000, 10,000, somewhere in that area. And ultimately down to about $6,000 or $8,000. It's front loaded, obviously, more cash sooner. And, that'll make a substantial difference. And
That's all going to wastewater, correct?
That's correct. And we left the amortization as it was, if I remember correctly. We didn't extend the term.
That bottom, to go to our bottom line, which of course could go to our CapEx projects, which hopefully would go toward not another sewer increase.
That's correct.
Good.
That's a big piece of the lot.
We doing the whole 75 million?
No, it's a total of 20, I think it's like 27. This is the only piece. Yeah, it's 27 of the 75 that's sitting there, George. These are the only pieces that are eligible right now, if you will. With the call provision coming up in July. These are the only pieces that, it's financially feasible, or makes any sense.
What is the other 48 million? What's the rates on that? Roughly, do you know?
When I don't remember, David. I can pull it up when I get back and maybe send you an email if that's okay. I wanna say it's close to 3%, like 275 or something like that. We just refinanced some of it, if you remember, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And they really not know when that is, and if we could do the same before rates jump, and I don't know if we'll be able to hit that cycle or not.
Yeah, they look at pretty much everything we have from a sewer standpoint. That's all that's close now, obviously. We also looked at telecom and water. From a financial standpoint, it just didn't make any sense right now.
Okay.
Any other questions on this resolution?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson, Commissioner Elkins, Secretary Isaac,
Aye.
Chairman McGee.
Aye.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay, the next resolution, resolution 2021-03-04 is very much, tied to this resolution we just passed. This is the MA project amendment. It's a municipal advisor, agreement, to allow us to use Raymond James to help us go through this bond issuance, procedure. Feel like we need professionals to help us navigate through this, size of bond. We've used Raymond James in the past, on the last bond issue, I believe. So it's the same agreement, and it's, not to exceed $37,500. They came in a couple months ago and gave us the analysis to identify this savings.
We have run multiple scenarios with them over the past probably year, to be honest with you. We talk periodically. It's not the same group the city uses, it's just taking a different look at it. So once we determine that this is probably a more feasible project, then we formalize, like, look, if we do issue it, then there's fees involved. Not to exceed $37,000 on $27 million issue.
Mark, remind me if I say this wrong, but I think we had a lot of discussions about the debt, and I think the direction the board kind of wanted was to try to front load some of these savings and try to get past a 3 to 5 year hump here before maybe some of the debt starts retiring.
That's a good point.
So that's why, Rick knew that when he ran these, and he tried to design it to take advantage the first 3 years or so.
If I'm not mistaken, guys, our principal payments really start to taper off. It's either 4 or 5 years from now, I can't remember for sure, but this gets us close, to Jody's point, this gets us close to that.
Any other questions on the MA project amendment resolution? Seeing none, do we have the motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Elkins,
Aye.
Secretary Isaacs,
Aye.
Chairman McGee.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Okay, the next resolution, I'm gonna read this, resolution 2021-03-05, notice of intent, joint AEC, MUC solar project. Whereas Morristown Utility Commission and Appalachian Electric Cooperative have pursued a joint solar project allowing combined flexibility capacities under the TVA long-term partnership flexibility agreement. And whereas MUC and AEC requested the professional consulting services of Seven States Power Corporation to assist in evaluation of this project. And whereas the evaluation for MUC has been and is led by Brian DeLozier, Power Systems Manager, along with good faith negotiations with AEC and Seven States. And whereas Seven States, AEC, and MUC have completed evaluations and are prepared to issue a potential notice of intent to award to the lead vendor and subsequently negotiate a contract terms contingent on a number of issues. And whereas the joint AEC-MUC project has the potential for significant savings to each utility and to provide a commitment to a renewable portfolio. And whereas the proposed letter of intent has no contractual obligation and the MUC Board of Commissioners must approve the final contract once presented. Now therefore, the Board of Commissioners approves a notice of intent to award for request for proposal number 7SPC-20-001, once completed and approved by Appalachian Electric Cooperative, and further authorizes Brian DeLozier to execute required documents for the notice of intent. So, explain that,
I
Brian?
can, basically, we're asking the board for permission to sign a notice of intent to tentatively award the project to a vendor who provided an RFP for this solar project, this joint project. We've had multiple meetings over multiple months with TVA, Seven States, Appalachian, and ourselves to kind of vet this process, estimations of kilowatt hour production. This is all happening under our flexibility rules with TVA. They've actually opened it up for us to provide our own generation. So that's what this is, and this is approval by the board to award it to one vendor to start the contract negotiations. Nothing locks us in at this point.
As you know, I recuse myself from the process, but I'll tell you, this is visible project. Brian, this will be the first time in the valley that TVA has allowed two different utilities to jointly go together.
That's right.
And the concept of that is a lot of municipals don't have land, it's not a municipality rule, so co-ops have more rule systems, so TVA is allowing the flexibility to be able to, so everybody can be a winner.
How close would this get us to our limit of what they'll allow for self-generation?
As of right now, this is our limit.
This will be,
In one project, we will build out to our limit. Now, if TVA on down the road,
changes this.
right, if they change the limits, we could engage in another project, but right now, this is the maximum we can.
Ron, it's highly expected, when you talk to people, that TVA will do that, because everybody got the same limit based on your load size, but not everybody's doing this. So, we expect they're gonna go and allow second projects for those who can.
This work.
So I think,
That number's what, 5 or 6%?
is it three?
It's 12 and a half
It's 12.
megawatts.
No, I mean the percentage, the flexibility
Oh,
percentage in
self-generation.
the contract.
Oh,
It's three, what, three was it?
I'm not sure the exact number.
But I think it's gonna higher than that. When you do solar, they have a different calculation, so you're.
So it depends on the time.
Yeah, it
Depends on the
time,
time of
yeah.
generation.
Does this maximize Appalachian Electric's?
Almost, they were about 300 KW higher than us, but to make it even with the, we're basically, TVA is gonna meter us and we're gonna split it 50-50. So that, to limit the size of the project, make it equal for the math, then, they've got about 300 KW more they can do, if they wanted to.
And the amount of investment required from the utility for this project would be zero.
Potential savings, we're still working on some of that. We've ran all kinds of models and different scenarios, and it looks like we're somewhere in the 600,000 per year for a 30-year agreement.
We're just,
investment.
He knows called self-generated, we're just buying it through this third party instead of TPA. And, yeah, we have to do that because they get the tax credit.
That's right. We could do it ourselves, but
We could.
we would extend.
But it wouldn't cost, save us anybody.
So they're, TVA pays the company too. They make money through TVA and then they pay us money.
But the important thing to remember is these contracts are gonna be very thick. TVA's lawyers, our lawyers, everybody's gonna look at this. This is just a letter of intent to let one vendor go ahead and start that contractual process.
How much was that savings, Brian? I couldn't hardly hear you.
Roughly 600,000 per year for 30 years.
Okay. And did you know, have they let Seven States told you who the vendor is that they're anticipating issuing the contract to?
We do know, at this point, we do know who that is. We're not divulging that right now because Appalachian Electric has to approve it at their board meeting on the 30th, I believe.
I think David, Brian told me right that this will be announced next week, if it goes through.
Okay. So Appalachian's basically doing the same thing we're doing, approving it through the board?
Yes,
That's
on
correct.
two, when is it, Brian?
It's on the 30th.
30th.
Any other questions for Brian on this resolution? Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Secretary Isaacs,
Aye.
Chairman McGuff.
Aye.
5-0. Motion passes.
Okay, we're going into the projects for approval. The first project, the West AJ line extension. Brian, can you lead us through that?
Yes, in power, we have 4 projects for your consideration. The first one will be West AJ Highway Line Extension. This is the last board meeting, we came to you with a project to extend from basically
We can't hear him.
basically the extension from.
Listen, talk loud, Brian.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay. All right, but last month we had a project to extend the line from basically Cherokee Health Systems down to Navajo Trail. That's all underbuilt on Appalachian Electric poles to that point, and that was a separate project. This one is to cross over AJ Highway at that point. It goes on the south side of AJ all the way to the Hamlin County, Jefferson County line, where the green development is happening. Those are all AT&T poles. It'll be pretty quick construction since there's no high voltage stuff on there that our guys have to work around. 21,000 feet of 556 wire, 7,000 feet of neutral wire, so it's roughly 7,000 feet to get to that from this from where we are. The total cost of this is $255,000. That includes the $20,000 contingency in case we ever offer anything like that.
There'll be one more project, I guess, to go down into.
Yeah, the subdivision itself, they don't have the final approval or plans done yet for the distribution inside there, but we'll have a project for the distribution inside the development once they get it built out.
Okay, are there any other questions on this project? We have a motion to approve.
Go next.
Are you wanna go?
You wanna go individual?
Are all these electric?
These are all like.
Whatever y'all wanna do.
We can, I think.
What was that?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
In the budget, I think.
Somebody on the phone. See.
Did somebody have a question on the phone?
Not me.
Not me.
Okay.
Go ahead with your other project, Brian.
Okay, the second project is to purchase a new bucket truck for the power crews. This is a standard 55-foot bucket truck, material handler. International chassis is what we typically buy. We purchased one of these last year as part of our phase out on our crews. We have 3 crews and a service truck. This particular truck is for the service truck to be replaced thirty has approximately 17,000 hours. The odometer shows over 100,000 miles on it. The mechanics are starting to spend some money trying to keep it updated. But, the project is $220,000 for a new, bucket truck.
And this goes through the state bid process?
It goes through the state bid process, and like I said, we just purchased one of these, and I think it was 207 or 208. This particular truck, I think, is in the 213 range, but with the contingency stuff, it's 220.
Outtake?
It's an Outtake, aerial unit is Outtake.
The, 130 truck, what is it worth?
I'm not sure of the value on it. We usually sell those things on Gov Deals. We list them on Gov Deals and let people bid on them. Outtake, for whatever reason, they won't offer us very much. It's like a car dealership. They won't offer us very much on a trade-in kind of thing. So we usually do better selling it through Gov Deals.
Remember what we got on the other?
The only example I can use, David, is we had a truck that we had used with the tree trimming crew when we disbanded that internally. And Outtake offered us something like $8,000 or $10,000 for it. We put it on Gov Deals and we ended up getting $25,000 for it.
It's be worth more.
Yeah, so, Gov Deals really has worked out well for us.
Just a silly question, but where does that come back into when we do sell that truck? Or is it on the, income statement or?
It ends up on, let's see, that would be, I guess, other income, and then it really reduces the amount of, actually, not cost of goods, but, it's a reduction in depreciation, to be honest with you, depreciation expense. We offset that ultimately is what happens. It's sort of
I'm sure you've already paid it out.
Oh, yeah, salvage value,
yeah,
that's what it
okay.
is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Next one? Yeah. All right. Next one is a work center door control. Clark, you wanna talk about this one?
Yeah, I guess a little bit, what we're doing is integrating, all of the exterior doors predominantly at the work center into the same system that we use here at the main office. And I'm not sure, do we have that at the sewer facilities also? Water. Just water, okay. So, the work center facilities are the only ones that have not been integrated thus far. Better security system, obviously a little more, efficient for the employees. And that gives us a lot more control, and I guess we know a little bit more about what's going on, as far as ingress and egress. Total cost.
And Merle did the,
Yes, yeah, Merle has done the other systems within, the rest of the utility. This just integrates it into that.
It allows, we have that here, certain people, you can't get in after 6 or get in before.
Gives you a lot of control.
And if you ever have an issue, where you need to isolate, you do it really quick.
There's one panel over in the NOC and Power Engineering that needs to be the new version. It won't go to the new system. That's an upgrade into that as well.
I don't know if y'all can hear Mike come up and do a little bit of an upgrade to one of the panels in the, existing system at the same time.
Is this a one-time deal or is this every year?
This is a one-time thing.
This is just hardware and software.
Labor, software.
Probably has a maintenance component.
Yeah, I don't know what that is per year, though, off the top of my head.
That system is very minimal. I actually don't even know the basis for it on that system.
It's not something that hits you for service fee.
A lot of systems are cloud-based now per door per month. This is not.
That makes sense, guys.
Any other questions on those projects?
I've got
One more.
The last project for power for this month was to purchase a mini excavator and a trailer, basically a float to haul it around. We have 3 crews, construction crews and a service truck, and all running crews and things like that. So we ended up renting a Mini X to, you know, keep the work going and keep the customers not having to wait for several weeks. But we would like to purchase our own mini excavator and trailer. The total cost for the project is $59,500. This is basically a John Deere 35G Mini X basic. It's not got a cab or AC or any of that kind of stuff. We spec'd it through the government contract with a couple different budget sizes, things like that. The discount on the machine itself through that was about $14,000 from buying it at private individual. This was in the approved budget for this past year.
Just what I was getting ready to say, the bucket truck and the excavator both been budget items.
That's a great price on it.
Yeah,
Three of them, go ahead and get them. We'll take two of them.
Yeah, you take two.
I didn't realize there was that much markup in this equipment after seeing these prices through the state bid.
Yeah, we got Rod, when I'm negotiating equipment now,
Yeah.
it's helped me a lot, you know, prices.
I bet.
So,
Any other questions on that project? Do we have a motion to approve these 4 projects in the power system?
we'll move.
Second.
A motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson, Commissioner Elkins,
Aye.
Secretary Isaacs,
Aye.
Chairman McGuffey.
Aye.
5-0, those pass.
Okay, we have a project in the wastewater system, on Lakeview Circle.
Yeah, this is
That-
a simple 1,400 feet of, sewer line, gravity sewer that needs to be replaced over on Lakeview Circle. It's, obviously it's past its useful life, it was installed in the 50s, and, it's just a straight dig and lay. The only thing about this is it is in the street, so we've got some paving we have to redo. But we're not replacing all the paving. The city's got this in their paving program, but we have to backfill stone and so forth, so it drives the cost a little bit. Roughly $225,000 for this project.
How did you discover that it needed to be replaced?
We do, all of our system is, there's a CCTV once every 7 years. And so we've had, we set a camera down the pipe, so we did an evaluation, and we know where it's at.
Mark, I've explained this before, not only just water, but also in electric or power, whatever, telecom, where we have budget and we have labor, and we've got $9,000 and we're doing it with the sewer crews. When we do our budget for the year, do we take part of that budget, put it in CapEx, or how does that translate at the end, final numbers?
Yeah, so when we do the capital budget for the year, the projects that are included in that budget include the labor dollars to do those projects. So like the thing Mike's talking about, it would have his labor dollars in there also.
You would have removed it from the O&M side.
Yeah.
If we knew we were gonna do it.
Yeah, it just depends on which side you're looking at. Whatever labor dollars show up on the O&M side, what's left is what goes in capital. Now, we may put, 15 projects on the capital budget and say, this is what we would like to do. And obviously, you may get to 5 or 6 of those. You won't get to everything in a year. But every project that shows up on the budget already has the labor dollars in it. Does that answer your question, David?
Yeah, I just wondered, I know we have these all throughout the year, apparently, and how we arrive at that O&M number and the CapEx number of labor. And I know it's tough to do because you don't know where you're gonna be fund-wise and where it's gonna fall into construction schedule. So I just wonder how you, at the end of the year, how that normally, over the past, how that's worked out.
Yeah. O&M is a little easier because obviously you got a little bit clearer breakdown there, and so we just typically forecast off of the previous year from an O&M standpoint, and then factor in any known changes. And then capital side is treated, not completely independent, but somewhat independent, to say, well, here's the projects and what the labor's gonna be. Does that help?
And does that Clark, if we had used our labor and applied it all to O&M instead of CapEx, on the capital side of it or asset side of it, would it lessen our asset side if our costs were less? That makes sense?
If we use more labor in O&M, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and left it out of CapEx.
Yes.
Just for asset purposes and taxes in lieu of,
Yeah.
if you know where I'm going.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it would. Yeah, it would, but you really have to we have to charge time wherever the guys are working. So if, Mike's crew works, I don't know, 30 hours on a capital project, we have a specific project number that they charge their time to. And then if the next couple of days, they only spend 10 hours on some type of maintenance project, those same guys would charge their time to a different project number.
Yeah, I think where David's going, that if you had a capital project and say 40% of it was labor, you can't, the requirements you have to, that labor has to track that project and go into construction progress.
Has to go into
You
the
can't
plant.
separate,
Has to go into the plant.
has to go into the plant, you can't separate it over in, which would lower the.
Is that just an IRS rule or is that a TDA rule?
We follow the TDA rules. This is how you do a work order, capital work order. This is how you do the maintenance. We apply those same standards to.
I mean, we can ask, I think I know it. Yeah, but we check, that's a good idea.
It's a good point.
It's a thought. Yeah. I'll make a note of that, David.
Thanks, man.
Any other questions on the Lakeview Circle Sewer line replacement project?
Make a motion.
Have a motion,
Second.
need a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson, Commissioner Elkins,
Aye.
Secretary Isaacs, Chairman McGuffey.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
The next item on the agenda is the purchase approval.
Really just, two groups of items on the electric side. First group is, insulators, for the electric system, total of about, $30,000-ish, for insulators. Those are not really stock, we typically capitalize those, but it's a normal item. Is that right, Ryan?
It is a normal item. It's 69 kV insulator. They're 5 feet long, and we're doing a little bit of work on some of our transmission systems, so that's what these are for. We try to keep some in stock in case, things fall on the line or break the poles down before we can put it back up. But our stock's getting low, plus we've got a little bit of plant work on that.
And the second group of items is OMTs, for customer connections, fiber connections. 450 of those, just to continue customer install. That's about $70,000 total. So total for both, purchases is right at $105,000, in the electric system.
Any questions on those purchases for approval?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wild,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickerson, Commissioner Elkins,
Lynn?
Commissioner Elkins.
Leave your batteries down.
Then we're gonna go on. I think, we've lost connection. She on the phone?
Wait a minute, I had you on mute,
Oh,
I'm
you're-
sorry.
Are you yay or nay?
I'm yay.
Okay. Secretary Isaacs, Chairman McGee. Okay, the purchases are approved.
Okay, the, next item would be the power operations report.
Yes.
Brian, can you?
For February 22nd through March 21st, we were working on many of the same projects we have been working on. They're making some real good progress on the 300 unit apartment complex there beside Walmart, Thompson Creek Road area. So we're gonna be over there setting poles and, getting ready to pull some underground wire over there. The PCAP building is moving along. We set a pad mount transformer and got all that stuff worked out, primary metering, all that stuff's ready to go. So the new TCAP building is ready to turn on. More of the same, planned and in progress work as previous months, and the load peak for the month was 146 megawatts.
Just TCAP that, does it have any backup generators?
Not that I'm aware of.
A lot of projects going on right there.
Busy, busy.
Any questions for Brian? Move on to the water wastewater, Mike.
And the water crew, they completed a little project over on Hill Street, replacing 2-inch galvanized line. They finished that up in February. On sewer crews, they completed the sewer line extension over on Ray Street. Everything else is pretty much in normal. We've got our one last rehab project going on, and, that's progressing fairly well. We're probably coming out here 50% complete on it.
Last one under the
Or,
under the order.
yeah, hopefully here in 2 or 3 months, we can close that project out, and I can send in the letter to the state and close that order out. I'll frame that.
That's good. Any questions for Mike? Move on to the telecom report.
On the network operations side, we continue to focus most of our attention on the FCC bandwidth reclamation for C-band, for the 5G frequency space. Most of those include satellite changes, splitter changes, including ESPN, Disney, National Geographic, Wild, FX and FXX, new receivers. On the outside plant side, we had 127 new installs, and conversion occurred. There continues to be work on the Carlisle apartment complex on the church, and we have an ongoing ONT upgrade in progress to accommodate bandwidth requests over 100 meg for field series. Network engineering, we completed the network, the Nokia network audit recommendations for the 7750. We completed the Cisco to P454 replacement migration, which is supported the phone switch. And we're now into the 7750 port migration project to include the DWDM migration, as well as additional links to the OLT shells to support 7360 for IT.
George, is there a deadline to have everybody migrated over to the new boxes? Is there a drop dead deadline?
There is not. There are some imposed deadlines by the FCC associated with this bandwidth reclamation, and some deadlines where we're losing the SD services on the legacy side, and that in turn is moving some people to IPTV. But it's a balancing act from monies, materials, lead times are like in everything else are pushed out to a ridiculous amount of time. But there is no real plan right now. I would guess if you did it in round numbers, if everything goes well, we expect to be done somewhere in the fourth quarter, early fourth quarter.
Finish this year.
With everybody that has to change. That leaves 1,000 video customers that are somewhere on the existing legacy system that may in turn move to IPTV and we've got discussions around minimizing that legacy lineup just to support a certain number of SD services in the clear. So it's a work in progress.
Thank you.
I finally, I got the
All right.
I got the dreaded.
I got the letter too. I got to schedule mine as well.
Lauren?
Tell me you have trouble.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble on the ones that's just the amino box straight to ATV, but we have one of those sound bar things, both goes through a Bose and a DVR, and those are the ones that get a little tricky. And especially when you're colorblind, you can't tell red from green. That doesn't help.
I got a remote to quit. For what, then they can swap it at the counter, or we can do it.
I will. The problem is, can you program it like it was on there? She's got some of the buttons, so
You
man,
just let somebody buy and do that for you.
I hate to have to do that.
Hey, George,
Yes, sir.
did you say we had the car, we're supplying Carlisle on the west end?
Right now, those new apartments, now, I'm not sure exactly the name of them, but they're on the, right-hand side of Central Church, as you head out into the county. They're adding some additional units there that we're, slowly occupying. We're about 50% of the way through that project.
Is that the one you meant, George? They're that close to town, or you think? Or,
I think the one down behind Honda, maybe most of those aren't apartments. I'm not even familiar with him, but I know he's been doing a lot of work down behind Honda.
Yeah, we're exclusive to that area right now. We're the only ones in there other than AT&T. But we do have service in those, sure.
Good.
Okay, thank you, George. We'll move on to customer service.
I'll wrap a slide in here, yeah.
Okay, general manager.
So there's the call center update. I won't spend much time. You see, we're 3 weeks into reopening the office down here on the bottom. And you can see obviously a lot of these payments picking back up. 300s. You see the drive-through drop, obviously. No really significant changes too much on the other ones. Now that's by customer number. This one's by percentage calls. Again, you can see we were running like 11% before we shut down. Now we're only back up to 6% of the overall transactions that are in the lobby. Drive-throughs down a little bit. We're seeing a little tick down in kiosks. I don't know what's driving that. Back by customer up a little bit. So nothing significant. It'll be interesting to see over the next couple of months how much that rebounds from where it was.
Yeah, before, I mean, we just opened back up in March, we didn't really advertise or anything. So it'd be interesting to see how long it takes.
Well, I'll be waiting about their shots yet. Once everybody gets their shots, maybe it'll be more like it was prior to COVID.
But we hope it's not. More people.
Interesting to see if it's back to what was normal or whatever. What is that?
Some people still, they just like to see people. They like to come in, get around. A couple things I wanted to give you an update on. This is a system, TVA, as you know, built the new, or they are building this brand new system operations thing north of Chattanooga, I guess west of Cleveland. That's a pictorial rendition. If you remember, right now they're downtown Chattanooga and underneath the street in Atlanta. We've been in there, but after the national, well, it's happened before the national thing, but when you get into big cities, you got all this infrastructure that people can get within 100 foot from. So this is designed to be a much more secure thing for them to operate from. You can see that's just a communication center. They're building some double circuits in. I'd say this one's not going down without power.
Is that where they would control those big natural gas turbine generators,
Turn
turn one
yeah.
on from there? The whole network is controlled from Chattanooga?
Now they have people at the plant, but they can call ask 5-minute things, 10-minute products. I think they even operate Raccoon Mountain, for this. So that's their major event. So you see the building is started. It's about out in 24 before they get it finished. And,
Hey, Jeff,
yes.
is this on the board pack? Can we see that?
No, it's what I sent in the email yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Wanted
I'll do it.
the GM report.
I got you. Yeah.
So,
Wait, I'm sorry.
okay. Now, I guess we could start doing that on there.
No, it's okay.
Okay. This shows traditional TVA's talking about the current power grid. It really is a north to south. It's a one-way power flow. The presentation the other day, they envisioned these networks like this two-way power flow, ending communications, sensors, and intelligent devices. And remember that slide, because we're getting into smart traffic controllers, electric cars, you go around, you got the solar, you got the data centers, you got energy storage, which is on the horizon, electric buses. There's a lot of things that take two-way traffic and some intelligence to manage. So the grid of tomorrow is gonna have, like, you know, we do SCADA. SCADA's an acronym, you're all aware of it. And now they're investing more in fiber optic infrastructure for their own and to help us. But look at see, we've already got a lot of this. This is what people need to be ready for with the transformational grid. We have smart meters. I wouldn't say we're maxed out with sensors too much, Brian. But we do have them out there. Real-time communication, I mean, these networks, SCADA systems, talk sub-second, I guess, don't we? Intelligent devices, all our relays inside our substations are all intelligent devices. So we'll talk about EV for just a minute. Again, this market, TVA sees this significant market, and there's several reasons they want to be in this, because it reduces CO2 emissions, it grows sales by having electricity charging, it balances the system because you would hope to charge off-peak and be lower rates. It's going to help invest locally for economic benefits, and you just like Marshall's really interested in this EV stuff because we got 12,000 people every day coming into Hamilton County from 6 or 7 counties, and of course TVA wants to position themselves as innovation. I won't spend much time. That's just their strategy, and toward this availability, we signed up to be a part of this infrastructure charging. And I think it's, what was it, around 2,200 or 2,400 charging stations.
It's a lot, I'm not sure the exact number, it's a lot though.
And they're gonna have a community awareness campaign. They've got a new public image thing to try to get this stuff out. That'll be coming, and we'll have commercials on our stations and in social media. What I think, that's just charging, it's awful small to see, but if you go in the upper right part of the map on charging infrastructure, they had I-81, and they had 25E through Morristown, and they had 11W. I got with Greg, told him I was gonna ask TVA, I said, there gotta be more cars coming through 11E than there is on 11W. So we've appealed to TVA to include 11E, and they're saying right now probably at least part of Morristown that they would, but you wanna sell electric cars, you're gonna have people driving in here to work in electric cars, they better be able to get them charged. So it's a cool thing, it's a slow train, but it's starting to come. And I won't go into, we got some webinars, I meant to take that one out. So one last thing, before executive session, this is the American Public Power put this out. And these are the power grids. We've had the Texas situation, so these are the NERC regions, National Energy Reliability Council. These are the regions, which includes into Canada. And the next map's gonna break this out, but we're here at CERC, Southeastern Reliability Council. You can see where that covers. So go to the next one. The United States Power Grid has 3 sections to it. This whole eastern division is connected, and you've got to have a lot of quick relaying to disconnect when you start having a cascading outage, like they had, where was it, Pennsylvania? Or is it New York? Anyway, TVA disconnected off the grid just in time to keep TVA up. The western section, about the Continental Divide, they're on their own island, and in Texas elected to be their own island because they didn't want to be under federal, as I understand, federal guidelines. They didn't want to be under NERC. So Texas has their own interconnect, and they got in a little bit of trouble the other day. You need to understand, we're all locked in the eastern United States. Last 2 slides, I think, I wanted to show electric. The generation capacity by field type right now in 2021 is 44% natural gas, 19, almost 20 in coal, 9.5 in wind, 8.5 in nuclear, 8 in hydro, and 4 in solar. Now compare that to the one on the right. This is TVA's generation. They're 41% nuclear. They're down to 14% coal, 27% gas. They have good hydro generation, but they're only 3% in wind and solar. But they're already 59% carbon free. So, however, they're getting ready to expand. I don't know if they'll do wind much, but they're expanding solar. I thought this was interesting. These are the number of plants canceled in 2020. I guess it was just the COVID thing that did this. But this many plants were canceled. That's 38% natural gas. There was 29% that were planned that were canceled in wind, and 22% solar. Now that amounted to 43 gigawatts of plants that were canceled last year in the United States. In comparison, like TVA, I may be a little there, right? TVA has around 31,000 megawatts of their own capacity. And then they buy some. So, I mean, they canceled more plants than the whole TVA system has last year. If you go to the far right, this is what's under construction this year. And it should pop out to you pretty quick. 38% are wind, and 32% are solar, 24% gas, and I mean, there's nothing underneath that.
So that would be, they'd be putting some plants out of service, probably, like coal, right? So that would be all new generation, it'd be replacing some existing.
Yeah, I think I have one more. So here's the retired plants between 2014, 2020. 57% of the coal fleet in the United States, I think this is world, was shut down. And 29% of the natural gas plants were. Now, they're saying between 2021 to 2025, you're gonna see 52% of what coal is still out there. 52% of it's going down. 25% natural gas and some nuclear plants. Some people are gonna get out of nuclear, it looks like. So they're still shutting down coal. That ship has sailed. And if they get into the natural gas and this fracking stuff, natural gas is still a base load fuel. It runs all the time. It's not a solar, it's not a wind. So we're gonna have to keep our eyes on that. So what?
It looks funny, coal they shut down over half between 14 and 20, and they're shutting down half again by 25.
Yeah.
But natural gas is kind of surprising to me that they retired 29% and another 25%. I thought that would be more levelized.
David, I think that is, I think that's world generation. I'm not sure it's all US on this chart.
Building natural gas and closing natural gas.
Yeah. Well, I think all that cancellation last year was just COVID. It shut it down. I don't know, I hope, natural gas is baseline, so your nuclear, coal, and gas are baseline, so if they get into fracking, I don't know that makes them shut down plants, or this drives cost down. Obviously, the pipeline closes, doesn't help natural gas prices. But anyway, that's, I thought that was interesting. There's the future board meetings. Those are 2 standard Thursdays. And, I emailed you all about being able to go on Tuesday the 29th, and I had affirmatives, I think, on everybody. So unless y'all have, that's in June. Does anybody have issues with those dates? If not, I'm gonna send a save the date. I ain't started, got a. Okay. That's all I have.
Is that everything?
Until, man, we gotta go to the.
Okay.
executive session.
Thank you, Jody. Does anyone have anything else to bring before the commission before we adjourn?
Do we adjourn and
We'll go into executive session, then we'll come back and adjourn them.
adjourn when you come back.
Okay, so we're gonna wanna do executive session now. Can we take a little quick bathroom break?
Yep.
Let's take a quick bathroom break and then go.
Are there any,
All lines have been unmuted.
are there any guests on the calling?
Yeah. Yes, it is. I'll take a look at those and then I'll.
So you all see how big this room is?
Yeah, I'll look through those to make sure.
They weren't allowing people from the public to come in here. See, I was sitting all the way back over here. So. Hey, were you in the other meetings as well, like last month and stuff?
No.
No?
What's your YouTube channel?
Lakeway Audits.
Lakeway Audits?
Lakeway Audits. So here's another little room that they've got. So, you know, they could have opened it up to the public. You see how big that room is. The governor's mandate was to go ahead and to have 10 people allowed in a room, and that's a large room there, and you know there was maybe only 10 people there today, so I feel that they could have definitely you know, allotted to allow people back in there. Now, you know, it is still under the same governor's orders that it was last month, so I don't know whether or not, you know, me coming on out here and, you know, making a deal about it a month ago at the meeting had anything to do with it or not. But you know, I'm definitely glad that they chose to make the decision. And open it on up. So I thank y'all for watching that. And I'm gonna exit out this little extra room office. See, I mean, they could have even opened up these doors right here, right, and had the public sit right here. You know, just ridiculous, the power they want to go ahead and try to have over the people. I mean, it's not like they're discussing a lot, but the principle of it is that it's a government entity. It's open to the people, to the public. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot that we should know about.
David, can I ask you to wait out the lobby?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right. So, that is the boardroom. And it is a actual secured facility there. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you all for watching.